All right, mean and median. Looking at data today. So if you haven't already, grab your paper or something to write with, and let's get started. All right, so we're looking at mean and median. So you start off with a little bit of notes. Mean, it's just another word for average. So you can remember it as your mean math teacher calculates your math average, which is the sum of all the items in the list divided by however many numbers there are. And then the median is the middle number. Okay? And then one of two things will happen with your data. You'll either have one number in the middle or two. If you have one, you just write it down. If you have two, you take the average of those two. Okay? And all of that will make more sense when we actually practice it out. And since that's the case, let's practice. So we have two friends, Saria and Jaslyn, downloading songs for 6 weeks. It's kind of an old reference. Downloading songs. It's a thing people used to do back in the 2000s. First question, what is the median amount of songs downloaded? Hint, order the set of numbers from least to greatest, then circle the middle. This is a great hint, because it's not really a hint, that's just how you answer it. You always have to put them in order, otherwise this will never work. Okay? So my smallest number on the list is 1, followed by 4, followed by 6, and then 9, then 10, finally 12. Okay? You don't have to put the commas between them, but I do because I'm old-fashioned like that. Okay? Now we want to find the middle number. There's different ways to do this. I'm a fan, for people starting out, of the rainbow method, which is to take the the lowest remaining number and the highest remaining number and making a little rainbow between them. Okay? And then we do it again until we have either one or two numbers left. So we have the next lowest and the next highest, 4 and 10. We draw another little loop. So now we have 9 and 6 left, and that's it. So we're going to circle both of these, but then it said if we have two numbers in the middle, we need to average them together. So we're going to add these two together. So 6 plus 9 is 15. And then we're going to divide by however many numbers we added, which was 2. So 15 divided by 2. 2 goes into 15 7 times. This is, whoops. Oh, I erased the whole thing. Feels bad. Let's try again. 15 divided by 2. I haven't divided by hand in a while. This is 14. 15 minus 14 is 1. We need to add a decimal, and a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. There's nothing left over there. So the median number of songs that they downloaded was 7.5 songs. Okay. And the next part says how many total songs were downloaded. So if we want total, that's the sum, which means we need to add them all up. So I'm going to take my list here, and I'm just going to add them together. So I'm going to put them in list form. 6, 4, 1. You don't have to do them all at once. You can add two numbers at a time and just keep on adding. However works best for you. Let's see, we got 10, 20, 22. Carry the 2. This is 42. Double check my numbers here. 22, 31, 37, 41, 40. Okay, 42. Good. So they downloaded 42 songs in total. And then we divide that by the number of weeks, or how many numbers there were. We had 6 numbers in our list. And 42 divided by 6 is 7. And there you go. You just calculated your very first average. Hooray! Let's keep on going. So Matthew sold 43 cheesecakes at mom's work, 32 at dad's work, 18, blah, blah, blah. So much. What's the mean? The cheesecakes he sold. So since we want mean, we know the first step is find the sum. We want to add everything together. So we've got 43, 32, sorry. Let's see, 18 and 3. We're going to add all those together. This is 5, 8, 16. Here's the 1, 5, 8, 9. Let's see, let me double check. Okay, that looks good. Then step 2, divide by the amount of numbers. It's got to think of like clever ways to say that, because really you're dividing by the number of numbers, but when you say it like that, it's a little bit confusing. So the amount of numbers, and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers that we added up. So we're going to do 96 divided by 4. 4 goes into 9 2 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Bring the 6 down. This is going to work out nice and even for us. 4 goes into 16 4 times. 0. So what is the mean number of cheesecakes he sold? That was 24 cheesecakes. There's our answer. Okay. And before we go on, let's talk about what's happening here. Okay. The reason why we do this, because this is kind of a lot of work for Matthew that we just did. So the whole point of this is, let's say Matthew has a friend. His friend's name is Eric. Why not? And Eric says to his friend, he says, "Hey, Matthew, I heard you're selling cheesecakes. How are your sales going?" So looking at our problem, Matthew would have responded by saying, "Well, buddy, I sold 43 cheesecakes at my mom's work, 32 at my dad's work, 18 around the neighborhood, and 3 at home." Wow. And at some point, Eric's going to say, I was just being nice. I don't really care about all this stuff you're telling me. So what could have helped Matthew out here is if he could have simplified his story down. So now that we know he sold an average of 24 cheesecakes, when someone asks him, "Hey, how are the cheesecake sales going?" he can say, "You know what? Everywhere I go, I'm selling about 24 cheesecakes." It's nice and simple. It takes all of our data and compacts it down to one number, which really helps out, because no one wants to listen to a bunch of numbers. As kids sitting in a math class, you know that to be true. All right, let's move on. So let's see. Ariana Grande earned $23, $29, $25, $16, $17 working at an ice cream shop after school. What's the mean amount she earned? Okay, cool. So we have mean, so the average. So again, step 1, find the sum. So we're going to take our numbers, we're just going to add them together. So 23, 29, 25, 16, and 17. Add these together. Let's see, 12, 17, 23, 30. Okay, that works out nice. 5, 7, 9, 10, 11. Is that right? 33, 53, 58, 78, 78, 87. Yeah, that seems good. Okay. Step 2. I hope that's right. I'll be embarrassed if I can't add correctly. We're going to divide by, and you know what I put last time. We're going to put it again. The amount of numbers, or the number of numbers. So in this case, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things in our list. So we're going to take our total, and we're going to divide by 5. And that works out pretty nicely. 5 goes into 11 twice. 5 goes into 10 twice. So on average, we can say Ariana earned about $22 at her ice cream shop. And we can double check that just real quick. So if we look at these amounts, 23, 29, 25, 16, 17, 22 seems like a nice, it seems pretty close to all those. You've got some amounts smaller, some amounts bigger. one amount that's almost right on it. This seems like a good, reasonable answer. Assuming I added correctly. Which, fingers crossed, I did. If I didn't, feel free to correct me in the comments. Okay, so that's mean. Find sum, and then divide. Not too bad. So our second part, determine the median. So James got these scores on his math quiz. Find the median. Okay. Median is a little bit easier. It's a lot less math to do. Still 2 steps. 1, we want to order from least to greatest. Honestly, you could do greatest to least as well. It won't change anything, but people will look at you weird. So our lowest score is a 45. Yikes. Second lowest score is a 52. Oh my goodness. But then you got what? What's the next one? 81. Then you had an 84. Then he had a 91. Then another 91. And then a 92. Okay, so keep in mind here, since 91 shows up twice in the list, we have to write it down 2 times here as well. We can double check to make sure we got them all, because the more numbers you put in the list, there's more of a chance we're going to miss something. So I know I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 7 numbers in the original list, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my new list. Perfect. Okay. So step 2, we're going to cross numbers out until just, I don't really know a good way to write this down. Just the middle is left. So we're going to do a little rainbow plan. We're going to take the lowest number, we're going to take the highest number, we're going to draw a little loop-de-loop there. And we're going to keep going. Lowest, highest, loop. Lowest, highest, loop. And we only have 1 number left. When you have 1 number left, you circle it and you write it down and you box it off and you say, give me 100. Because that's your answer. That's it. So you put them in order, cross them out, pick what's left over. That's all median is. Pinky promise. Doesn't get harder than that. Unless, of course, they give you an even amount of numbers. So number of flyers handed out by the cheer member shown below, determine the median. Alright, so step 1, order L to G. So who was the laziest cheer member? It's 46. And then the next one was 50. And we've got a couple of 54s. And then a couple of 66s. Okay, that's actually not too bad, now that I look at it. Step 2, we're going to cross out till we get to the middle. So we start low and high, low and high. This time we've got 2 numbers left in the middle, right? And we said if there's 2 numbers left, we're going to add them together. And those of you that know what's happening are going crazy because I'm doing this math, but it's okay. It's okay, I know what's going on. We're going to be okay. Add them up, and then we're going to divide that by 2. We want the average of those 2 numbers. So 108 divided by 2. So 2 goes into 10 5 times. Nothing left over. 2 goes into 8 4 times. And we're left with a median of 54. So you're saying, wait, Ellis, I circled 2 54s. So why did I just do all this math? And I'm like, I don't know, practice? But no, if you have 2 numbers and they're both the same, that's just the median. Because if you average nothing but one number, you'll always get that number. Like if all your grades in class are 100, then your average is 100. If all your grades are 70s, then your average is a 70. Fun facts. All right, so that's mean and median. Not too bad. There's some more problems on this Kahoot down here. And there's also more problems depending on if you actually got this worksheet that I got these 4 problems on. So depending on what your teacher's assigned, you may have some extra work to do. If not, get the Kahoot app, put in that code, and go for the high score. Chance to win big old prizes. Okay? And then one last thing, and this is more for goofs than anything else. This used to be a test question. I don't know if it still is, but it's good information now. When should we use mean or median? Because they both serve the same purpose, which is to take a big set of data and simplify it down to one single number representing that data. So let's say, for example, 4 kids, you and 3 of your friends took a test, and your scores were an 80, a 90, a 95, and a 100. Okay, so we can find the mean and median of that. That's not too bad. So if we want the mean, we're just going to add these up. So we got 100, we got 95, a 90, and an 80. I shouldn't have put a 5 in here. Oh well. Let's see, that's 1826. That's 265. So 265 divided by 4. That's not 265. That's 365. I'm sorry. Sorry, I've been on break for a while. 365. That makes much more sense. So 365 divided by 4. This is a 9. Nothing left over. We bring down our 5. It's a 1 with a little bit left over. So we can say it's about a 91. 91.25 if you kept going. That's the average. And we would say that's a pretty good representation. We could say your little group, you averaged about a 91. Okay? And no one would argue that. But now what if we added one more person to your group? And that person decided not to really try. They showed up and they got a 0. They got a 0 on the same test. How does that affect your average? So if we add that to the list, right, doesn't change the total. It's still 365, only now instead of having to divide by 4, we would have to say, what's 365 divided by 5? So now 5 goes into 36 7 times. This is 1. Maybe that's why I put a 5 in there. Okay. So now your average is a 73. And you say, wait. That doesn't represent our group, because look at our scores. We had an 80, a 90, a 95, and a 100. It's just this one dude messing up the average for everybody. And I'd say you're correct. So if you have a number like this, a number that does not fit in, there's a name for that in statistics. It's called an outlier. It's a bonus information. This is a number that does not fit with the data. It's way outside the group. It does not represent the group at all. So why are we letting it mess with our information? So if you have an outlier, the average is no longer as useful. But what about the median? So if we go back, if we get rid of this 0, and if we just look at the median, let's pick a different color. Let's go green. If we take the low and the high score, we're left with these 2 in the middle. So between a 90 and a 95, so 90, ooh, this is kind of neon. That's okay. That's 185. And then we divide that by 2, right? And that gives us 9. 2 goes into 5, 2.5 times. So that gives you a median score of 92.5. And that represents these 4 numbers pretty well. If I said I'm median, You all scored about 92.5. No one would argue with that. That's fairly accurate. Okay. And what if we bring back our friend who got a 0? Whoops. Put this one back. And then let's get rid of this and let's recalculate the median. So we have a low and a high. Those are going to cancel, or well, cross each other out. We have these two, and then we have a median of 90. So even when we add in a 0, our median just went from 92.5 to 90, and that still represents our data pretty well. So when do we use mean or median? It comes down to, do you have an outlier? Whoa. So if the answer is yes, I do have an outlier, you should use median. If you do not have an outlier, you should use mean. And there you go. That's it. Not too bad. All right. Have a good day, evening, afternoon, whatever time of day it is you're watching this. Okay. Bye.